Good morning. Hey up. It's Barnsley Bob. Where have you been? I hear you all asking. Well, you're probably not really, are you? But I've not been on bike for a while. It's been laid up. Been doing a few bits to it, and we'll go this way. Yeah, we're doing a few bits to the bike and this, that and the other. Life gets in the way, and today's another test. I'm forever doing bloody tests. Some of you might remember a while back I tested out a different action cam setup for the bike, and it was a little SJ Cam 4000, which is their cheapest chips, and if you get a genuine SJ Cam, they're not actually that bad. For the money you pay, you're paying about 40 quid for a non-Wi-Fi one, a little bit more for the ones with Wi-Fi. And they do a job. The sound's not great, there's no mic in, nothing like that, so I had to set up a voice recorder. I got a little I forget what it is now, it might be a Sony or something, voice recorder, but then you've got trailing wires everywhere, and it was a bit of a pain in the backside, to be honest, albeit the sound quality was really good, especially on the bike with a little lavalier mic set up into the lid. Came on quick. So I've gone back to a Sena 10C, which I had before, only this time, instead of putting it in and wiring it up with a boom mic, I've just put the little wired in mic in, and I've done the same trick as I did with the lavalier mic set up with the previous voice recorder, in that I've tucked it right inside the chin bar, but I've also put the fingertip of a little latex glove over the end, and just fastened it down with a bit of cable tie, and we'll just see what the sound's like. There's one thing with the newer versions of this software for the Sena 10C is that you can turn the gain down a little bit. I think the last one, the mic was really sensitive to, well, any sort of noise really, wind noise, me shouting, because I thought you won't be able to hear me over the wind noise, and it got really distorted, and the sound quality was the one thing that really put me off about the Sena. We all know, after all the reviews now, it's been out a few years now, the Sena 10C, the video quality is 1080p but at 30 frames per second, and it is never going to compete with something like a GoPro or a Drift Ghost S or something like that. It's just not. They've packed so much into this little gadget that is the 10C that something's got to suffer somewhere. You could say it's a little bit of a jack of all trades, master of none type thing, but it's just so bloody easy to use, without having to need loads of other kit. I mean, I've just been listening to the test this morning, Bluetoothed it up to my phone, which I've got mounted there now. I'm without the sat nav today because I know where I'm going, and I've been listening to Bitter Arctic Monkeys this morning. You can, if I want to, I can start it playing again now, and as I'm talking, you'll have Arctic Monkeys or whatever music I play recording in the background. So it is a good bit of kit. I always said that, it was just the sound quality that I didn't like. So we'll see what it's like with this different, slightly different mic setup. It might still be shit. Who knows? But I think we all know I'm not a serious YouTube vlogger. I do it for a bit of fun, to capture some of the moments that I want captured, basically. If I do any reviews of kit, like I did one on me crash helmet a while back, I used a different camera indoors anyway. But for being on the bike and just doing the odd video of some nice scenery, or me having a bit of a rant because somebody's made me fed up, the Sena will do the job, so long as it's sounding too bad. I mean, if it's bloody awful again, then it's going to be a case of I'll utilise the rest of it, the intercom part of it, and being able to listen to me sat-nav directions when I'm away on my travels, and do a bit of filming. I'll probably overlay the film with some music and cut out the voice recording bit. One thing I've forgotten to do on it today is just cover the external mic up with a bit of tape, so that might make it a bit awful. As I said, we'll have to see. So that's that. We set up with that. We've I've spent some money over Christmas, I'll tell you that for now. A few changes to the bike. I might get off and show you in a minute if I get a chance. I've changed the old hand guards from the awful flimsy Triumph ones, which keep the wind off but not a lot else, to these Bark Busters ones. Got them second hand, so they're good. Really good sturdy hand guards to protect your levers and stuff like that when I inevitably tumble off at some point. We've got a trip to Morocco planned for next year, and I'm taking this, so there's that. I bought a set of panniers for it, but they're not rigid panniers. They're a set of SW Motec, they're like throw over panniers, sort of textile, but they come with a set of frames that are bike specific to the Explorer. So the panniers kind of sit on these frames, and then you loop a Velcro strap over the top of the seat, and it's that actually keeps the panniers on the bike, because the bit that clips to the frames on the side, it's not particularly sturdy, and it's meant SW Motec themselves say that it's not meant as a retainer for the pannier onto the frame, it's merely as a guide to get the pannier in place. So I think what I'm going to do is experiment with them and use some rock straps to fasten the pannier to the frame itself. But all in, the pannier bags, the frames and the waterproof inner bags that you get with them came to about 250 quid I think from Square Deals, and they are good quality. So I just had to see what they're like, sort of full up and stuff like that. I think somebody somewhere had an issue with one of because there's these D-rings on them, but they're all plastic, and somebody had one melt, so SW Motec gave him a refund, because they shouldn't really be doing that. There are other soft panniers out there. There's some really good ones, I forget the name now, but they were about 350 quid for the panniers, and then you have to go and buy a set of frames for them to rest on as well. So I'll let him through. So you'd wind up spending as much really as a full set of proper alloy box panniers by the time you're done. So we've got them, and a couple of other things. I got a Batson screen adjuster. There's a fella called Wolfgang Batson who frequents the Triumph Tiger Explorer forums, and he come up with this gadget which allows the screen to slide up and down, as well as the normal tilt that you get with a Triumph screen. And I have to say, it works bloody well for me. Some people say they don't work for them, but I'm getting absolutely no buffeting now whatsoever with the screen adjusted. You still get wind noise. I think that's what a lot of people who say they don't work for them must be complaining about. But if you don't want wind noise, then you need to get your Sena car, because you're always going to get wind noise on a motorbike. I don't care what you've got. Alright, maybe not one of these bloody great big Harley Davidsons or Goldwings. And finally, I got a set of Rigid Industries Dually fog lights. You can't see them at the minute because they're mounted up front, but they're quite good. They come with little clip-on amber lenses. They were a bugger to fit. Everybody said they're simple, and in actual fact the harness that comes with them, it is straight, simple plug and play type stuff. You don't have to do any soldering or old daft like that. But the harness is clearly designed for a car, because it's about 14 foot long. I'm not kidding, it's about 14 foot long. So you've got a long bit that goes from the battery terminal forward, but then each sort of wire that branches off then to the headlamps. Bear in mind, you're going from here, where this switch is here, to the lamps which are just below the front fairing there. And I'd got about 7 foot of cable to tidy out the way. So they're clearly not bike specific, but they are good lamps. I've just got to make sure I remember not to switch them on in daylight, because they do run off battery, and if you leave them on and then leave the bike, or some jolly japester comes along and switches them on, you're going to get a dead battery. I might have to see if I can wire them into fuse block, which my sat nav runs off, and then it'll be they'll be just off the switched sort of live feed from the ignition. We'll see how it goes. Yep. In your own time. What else did I get? Oh, I bought a new suit. You can't see it name anywhere. Some eagle-eyed might know from the little yellow zip on my left sleeve. I got a great Black Friday deal last year, back end of last year. I was looking at what textiles to get, and I was going to go for one of the higher end layered options, but the layers, they've always put me off really, because the outer fabric's not properly waterproof on them. You can then get an inner layer, inner waterproof membrane, which is supposed to be breathable, but I don't think they're that great. And you also get a thermal layer, which I hardly ever use them anyway. So you're forever fanning about with layers, and I thought, if I'm going to start using this and going long distance, I want a suit that's going to last, and I want a suit that's going to be simple to use, and one that I can add layers to it and remove them as and when I want. So I splashed out and bought a Clim, as we might say in this country, K-L-I-M, Clim. But it's American, and they like to call it or pronounce it Clim, so who am I to argue? But it's bloody good anyway, and I got a good deal from Sports Bike Shop in Black Friday sales. I mean, it's a March day. It's not particularly cold today, but it's not particularly warm either. I'm wearing a base layer t-shirt with a cotton t-shirt over that, and my underpants, and then the suit on top, and I'm nice and warm. I'll leave that image with you for a second. Let you digest it. Barnsley Bob's underpants. quite a lot of wind noise on here, as we used to do on this stretch. I've moved house and all since I last spoke to you. We've done a tour of Yorkshire. Got that footage to download somewhere, upload. That was done on the SJ cam with the voice recorder. Hence the reason I've been too bone idle to sort it all out. But yeah, we'll see what this is like. I'm just having a ride through to Ling's Triumph at Watton at the minute. I'm going to have a quick look at their new range. I'm not going to buy out. I've no intention of getting rid of this bike now. It's with me for the long term. Ah, that was the other thing. I think last video I did on the bike, I was on the way to Harley Davidson in Norwich. Well, as you can see, I'm still on the Explorer, so I didn't buy hotels. The Scrambler fell by the wayside from Ling's. Beautiful as it was, and much as I love Scramblers, as I've said before, they weren't going to offer the right price for this. Not really to compensate what I think it's worth anyway. Harley Davidson weren't much different, and I didn't really want a Harley, if I'm honest. So rather than get a fully customised up with lovely paint Triumph Scrambler and then proceed to leave it in the garage for 3/4 of the year or knacker it and have to fix all sorts of stuff on there to get my luggage on, I decided to stick with the Explorer, and I'm glad I did. Okay, he don't make me giggle like a daft kid like the Scrambler did, but he just does so much so well, and he carries all my camping gear. There's not much to complain about really with this bike. It's a bit top heavy at sort of low speeds and at a standstill, but really that's about it. That's its only fault when you compare it, in my eyes anyway, it's its only fault when you compare it to something like a GS. The GS has got a lower centre of gravity, so at low speeds and a standstill, manoeuvring it around a garage, it's a little bit easier. But come on, they're German, aren't they? So we're on a Triumph still, we're on an Explorer still, and I'm happy. And that's the main thing. It's 2 wheels. So I don't know how long I've been recording now. I've lost track. I've probably waffled too long yet again, because it was only going to be a short test. But I'll upload this really as a combination test of the Sena and a little update for the channel, which I've neglected really. But like I say, it's just a bit of fun for me. I'm not into getting tens of thousands of subscribers or making it pay for me, because I've got a job. So there we go. New Sena 10C. First time on bike. Sound check. And a bit of a waffle about hey up. Oh, you're going right, are you? That's nice. Indicators broke, are they? Professional drivers. I'm shit 'em. Right, don't get me started on a rant, because I've gone on too long. Barnsley Bob, signing off.